Hey guys, how are you all? Today we are going to talk about the types of chemical bond. So, in that, first we have the ionic or electrovalent bond. So, today we are going to discuss ionic or electrovalent bond. So, basically, it is a bond which is formed by the complete transfer of electron or electrons from metal to non-metal. For example, this is a metal element, okay, and we have a non-metal element. We know that metal element loses electron, it gives electron, and non-metal will gain electron. So metal, when loses electron, it will be converted into cation, and the non-metal which gains electron, it will be converted into anion. So this bond is basically formed between metal and non-metal. It is formed between metal and non-metal. Remember it, okay? Now we have examples like sodium and chlorine, okay? Sodium gives electron and chlorine gain electron. Sodium gives electron and chlorine gain electron, okay? So sodium chloride is ionic compound. And we have calcium and oxygen, okay? So calcium oxide is also the ionic compound. And the first one, sodium, gives only one electron because it has one valence electron, and the sodium needs sorry chlorine needs one electron, so it gains one electron from the sodium to complete its octet. Okay, so it loses one electron and chlorine gain one electron. And calcium has two valence electron which it loses, and oxygen needs two electron, so it takes two electron from the calcium and uh, its octet completed. Okay, so calcium oxide is also example of the ionic or electrovalent bond. Now let's talk about the ionic compound. So the compounds containing one or more ionic bonds will be called the ionic compound. For example, sodium chloride. So in sodium chloride we have ionic bond. So sodium chloride is ionic compound. Any compound which contain at least one ionic bond will be considered ionic compound. So sodium chloride is ionic compound, and it is purely ionic compound. It is purely ionic. It is purely ionic because it has only ionic bond. Now we also have another example, sodium carbonate, and another is ammonium chloride. But this is its structure, and this is the structure of ammonium chloride. But sodium carbonate has covalent bond as well. It contains ionic bond and covalent bond as well. And in ammonium chloride, it contains ionic bond, covalent bond, and coordinate covalent bond as well. Okay, so that's why sodium chloride is purely ionic, because it has only ionic bond. Now let's talk about the properties of the ionic bond, or the characteristics of the ionic bond. So ionic compounds, basically characteristics of the ionic compounds. So ionic compounds are solid. Why? Because of the strong ionic bond. Ionic bond is strong, that is why they are solid. And they have a high boiling point and melting point, because ionic bond is again strong, that is why. Again, ionic bond is strong, that is why they will have a high boiling point and melting point. And they are non-conductor. They are non-conductor in solid state. Why? Because in solid state, ions are not free. That is why they are not conductor of in solid state. But they are good conductor. They are conductor. And molten are solution state, because the ions are free and molten are solution state. So in molten or solution state, they are conductor because the ions are free. Now the other characteristic is they are non-directional. They are non-directional. Ionic compounds are non-directional because of no orbital overlapping. We know that covalent bond is formed by the overlapping of the orbital, but here is no overlapping of orbital, so ionic bonds are non-directional. And ionic compounds are very fast in reaction. Their reactions are very fast as compared to covalent compounds. And the sixth one is they do not react in solid state. They do not react in solid state. Now let's talk about that why ionic compounds give fast reaction than covalent compounds. So basically ionic compounds, they do not react in solid state. Okay, as I told you that they do not react in solid state, so before they react we make their solution to convert. Okay, we make their solution, and basically when the bond is formed, so basically in bond formation old bond first break in a reaction. First of all old bond breaks and then new bond forms, and the bond breaking is endothermic process. Bond breaking is endothermic process, and it takes a lots of time. Most of the time of the reaction is taken by the bond breaking. It takes a long time. Okay, so when we make their solution, when we make the solution of the ionic bond, so before the reaction their old bond breaks. As they convert it into the solution, as we make their solution, so the old bond already broken. The old bond is broken directly before the reaction, and then only bond formation is remaining, which is a fast step of the reaction, and so they are fast in reaction. That is why they are fast in reaction. Okay, because I am going to tell you again that in solid state they do not react. So first of all before the reaction we make their solution in which their old bond breaks, and bond breaking takes long time in a reaction. So before the reaction their old bond breaks, and then only bond formation is remaining, which is a fast step, and they only need to form new bond, which is a fast step, so they do fast reaction. Now for example we have silver nitrate and sodium chloride. Okay, so when sodium nitrate react with sodium chloride, so what will form? So this reaction is not possible. No reaction will occur. Why? Because these are ionic, and we said that they do not react in solid state. They are in solid state now, so they do not react in solid state. So first of all we make their solution. Okay, we make their solution. Now look here. Okay, that in solution their bond breaks, their old bond breaks. Now only bond formation is remaining, so which is a fast step, and they directly form the new bond, so they give the fast reaction. Now let's do some problems. Let's solve some problems regarding ionic bond. Okay, now the first question is which one is non-directional? Which one is non-directional? So I already told you that ionic bonds are non-directional. So now look that which one of the following is ionic. Which one is ionic compound? So ionic compounds are non-directional, and sodium chloride is ionic compound, so it is non-directional. HCl and HBr, they contain covalent bond, so they are directional. Now the second one is which pairs of elements is most likely to form an ionic compound? So I already told you that the ionic bond is formed between metal and non-metal. It is formed between metal and non-metal. So now search and look that which pair contains one metal and one non-metal. So if we look at the first option, option A, it contains one metal and one non-metal. So the magnesium and fluoride, it will form the ionic bond. the fluorine and magnesium will form the ionic bond, because the magnesium is metal and fluorine is non-metal. Now the most favorable condition for formation of ionic compound. Okay, so the most favorable condition for ionic bond is that the cation should have a large size. So large size of cation, and anion should have small size. Anion should have small size. As the size of the cation increases and the size of the anion decreases, so the ionic character will be increases. Now the question is, which one is more ionic? So the anion is same, the size of anion is same, but now look at the cation: sodium, potassium, rubidium. So down the group, we know that down the group the size increases. Here is sodium, chloride, chlorino, and then sorry, it is in first group, in sodium, and then potassium, and then rubidium. Okay, so down the group the size increases, so the size of the rubidium is large and size of the sodium is small. And I told you that the favorable condition is when the size of the cation is greater. So rubidium chloride is the correct option, because rubidium has large size, and as the size of the cation increases, the ionic character increases. So rubidium chloride is the correct option. Now the other problem we have is, which one of the following has highest boiling point? So I already told you in the characteristic of the ionic compounds that ionic compounds have high boiling point. So now look that which one of the following is the ionic compound. So cesium fluoride has ionic compound, and so it has high boiling point. That's all. Thank you for watching.